Wanted to do a quick late night thoughts video for you guys. There's this question that's going around the internet in circles for days. Piers Morgan is making an entirely new additional bonus career out of interviewing people and asking them this one question. What is the proportionate response to Hamas? Israel has a right to defend herself from these terrorists. What is she supposed to do? And everybody's talking like this is a hyper complex problem with all these issues on both sides. There is hyper complexity. There is history on both sides. It is a messy situation. But the part of the situation that's messy is not the response. That's really easy to answer. And I kind of talked about this recently, but force is morally acceptable against anyone that threatened or attacked innocent people. And anybody that associates in an organization working towards those ends. That's it. That's the answer. It's really simple. You can go after the bad guys all you want. But you cannot call something self-defense if the act of self-defense creates new innocent victims. That's not how self-defense works. That's not how morality works. To which we're immediately responded to by the thing that I really wanted to address in this video, which was, well, what is Israel supposed to do? The terrorists are hiding behind the innocent people. Israel has a right to defend herself. First of all, stop thinking in collectives. Israel is not a person. It's a concept that stands for a bunch of people living in an area. All of those individuals have a right to defend themselves. And the reason why the distinction is important is because we are used to, taught, and all of our experiences, when we start thinking in terms of nation states collectively attacking or defending, we're used to a certain set of warfare practices, state warfare practices. They use armies, they use tanks, they use bombs, and all other manner of weapons. And the unspoken assumption is that Israel has the right to use bombs in self-defense of these terrorists. I'm going to call that out. That's the break in the logic. When I walk around, I carry a weapon with me 24/7, wherever I am. If you ever see me, you can pretty much be assured that I'm armed. I'm not armed with a bandolier of grenades for a reason. A grenade would be a terrible self-defense weapon for multiple reasons. One of which is collateral damage. If somebody is attacking me or threatening me and I lob a grenade at them and it bounces off their forehead, explodes and damages a bunch of other people's property that weren't related and injures or kills the people in the vicinity, I can't call that self-defense. Even if the guy is like running and hiding behind innocent people, I'm not going to shoot my gun at them because I'm culpable for those new innocent victims who I become the aggressor for. Which then leads people to say, well, you're just taking away Israel's ability to defend herself. Well, again, stop thinking in collectives. But no, I'm not. Bombs are a state weapon, and their use is only ever seen as acceptable in state warfare. But the state doesn't have a legitimate existence or any moral authority or consent of the governed. Its warfare is not on a different moral plane of existence than me defending myself on the street. It doesn't work that way. But it fits nicely into the blind spot that people have, that people call statism, let's say, the superstition of the just authority of governments. This concept that bombs as a viable defense weapon are a viable option in this niche, in this shadow hole in the wall that people's belief in the authority of the government fits in. Well, maybe none of that's valid. And maybe you just don't get to use bombs because it creates collateral damage that you are also culpable for. And so if you're wanting to be the good guy, that defensive tool is off the table. Maybe that's just the reality. Unless you can somehow be sure that when you drop that bomb, the effects of those actions will not be damage to any innocent third parties. Maybe that sucks. Maybe you need to innovate in your weapons of defense more. Maybe you need to do better as a defense institution. It's almost like the government is even bad at warfare. It's almost like if we had competing institutions vying for your business to defend you, to provide defense services to you, you can be damn sure the free market competition would come up with all manner of interesting tools that would minimize collateral damage, because these institutions would then have to pay for that collateral damage. They wouldn't just go around dropping bombs. That is an absurd relic of statist warfare. That's the primary point I wanted to communicate in this hopefully short video that's rapidly getting longer. Okay, one more thing and then I'll shut up. Some people then say, well, then all bad guys ever have to do then is grab an innocent person and hide under them, and then they can go around and tyrannize the world for free. First of all, that's a failure of imagination, a failure of innovation, that you can't find solutions to that problem that won't create innocent victims. Second, bite the bullet. Yeah, maybe so. Maybe that's the reality. Even most people that like to think of themselves as being principled, don't think about the fundamental structure, the hierarchy of values that means. It means that you are putting a value above yourself. The opposite is to not be principled. The opposite is to do what suits you in the moment, to do whatever your personal goals, wishes, desires dictate in the moment, to act according to selfishness or to whim. If you choose to be a good guy, the good guy, you are selecting on purpose the potential circumstances that might lead you to make decisions or to restrict your behavior in ways that might leave you at a personal disadvantage for the sake of those principles. That's what it means to be principled. You are self-restricting your behavior. You're self-restricting your options in life. I might be able to profit by defrauding my neighbors, or by stealing from people, or being violent and taking what I want. I might be able to get away with that sometimes, but I choose not to. I self-limit my options. Sometimes, maybe even many times, to my disadvantage, to my direct disadvantage. That's what it means to be principled. You are limiting your options for the purpose of being the good guy. The bad guys don't do that. That's why they're the bad guys. They don't care about the innocent people. They don't put principles first. And so for good guys, supposedly principled good guys, to look at me and say, well, I have the right to defend myself even if I'm creating a pile of innocent bodies in the process, you're not behaving like one of the good guys. You're not restricting your behavior, and you're wanting to have your cake and eat it too. You don't get to be a good guy and be a bad guy at the same time. To be principled is to self-restrict your behavior. Is you just have to fight it all you want, innovate all you want, do the best you can do to defend yourself. But at the end of the day, and this is why a lot of people fail when David Friedman comes at him talking about flagpoles. He is specifically crafting a situation. I'm not going to go into it because I'm trying to keep this short. If you haven't heard of the flagpole situation, search my channel for it. You'll find it. He's specifically crafting a situation to test your mettle, your commitment to principles. What is your hierarchy of ideals? If you put yourself over your principles, you're not principled. At some point, some situation is going to come along, and it turns out you're going to be the bad guy. To be principled is to put that above your existence. That's just what it is. And I wanted to say that because I think a lot of people need to be aware of that and need to own that because that's what it is. Let me know your thoughts.